Policy limits usually cap out at X dollars per person or X dollar per accident. What happens when one person causes an accident that causes damage or injuries to death to several people? What a great question. Excuse me. So Maya asks, what happens when one person causes an accident that causes damage or injuries or death to several people? Well, let's examine that question. Great question. So what that means is that essentially one person was negligent. So if let's say you have a tractor trailer driver that hits a car with multiple people in it, or multiple cars, or let's say you have a case I can talk about this case a little bit. We had an electric shock case where two of my clients were shocked in one event doing some work over in Illinois. I regularly have cases where that happens. You can also have where if a husband or wife is profoundly injured, their spouse loses their husband or wife, the services or that relationship, they have to turn around and care for a brain damaged or paralyzed spouse for the rest of your life. So you can have multiple people injured. The question is, what happens with that? Well, if the liable party has plenty of insurance, then all of the injured people get made whole and get a full recovery. Now, that's a big if, because sometimes people don't. Now, the truck drivers can either have $750,000 or $1 million in coverage. But let me move to another example of a car driver. A person who drives a car and rear ends someone with multiple people and hurts all of them. Well, what a typical policy, lower limit car insurance policy in Missouri or Illinois is $2,550. If you ever see that on your card, take out your insurance card. It'll say what's your coverage. If it's 25/50, that means $25,000 a person, $50,000 per occurrence total. So that means if there's two people injured, each of them could get $25,000. So where the rubber hits the road, pun intended a little bit, in this is how much insurance there is. So if the person has plenty of insurance, you're not worried about it. But if you have 6 people injured and there's only $50,000 to get, that policy is going to get spread pretty thin, and then everybody's going to walk away undercompensated. There's ways to deal with that, and we can talk about sometimes insurance companies put the money into a case and interplead it. I settled a case this year, a very sad case, a death case, and multiple people injured. But the defense and the good defense lawyers said, hey, listen, we got $1 million in coverage. Here it is. We don't know how to divide it, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to hire a really good mediator. We're going to get all the medical. Everybody's going to share each other's stuff, and let's go mediate this case and see if we can get rid of this case for the policy limits. We did, and we were able to. I could tell you stories about that case because there's a lot of things to deal with in the case, but we got significant recoveries into the pockets of, I represented a deceased, a young man, and as well as his girlfriend and the father of his child. So we were able to take care of that as well as we could, and then we were also able to decrease the liens and get as much money in our client's pocket as we could. Let me tell you one other corollary or little side issue with your question, Maya, if I could, is that the other thing is that another kind of insurance people have is something called underinsured insurance. So if you're in the car that was rear-ended and the defendant had some insurance, but not enough to compensate you for your injuries, you can pay for extra insurance called underinsured coverage on your automobile insurance. And what that means is if the person who injured you is underinsured or does not have enough insurance, then your insurance kicks in to cover that. So if you had $100,000 underinsured policy, the defendant hits you, has $25,000, they pay you the $25,000. Usually there's something called a set-off in underinsured coverage where the underinsured, your insurance company gets a credit for the $25,000, but then you could make up to under that math and that hypothetical, you'd be able to make up to a $75,000 claim against your own underinsured coverage. We make those claims too. In case you thought underinsured claims were easy, They are not underinsured. You'd think, hey, it's my insurance company. They're going to take care of me and they're going to pay me. Nope, they're not. They're going to find it hard. You may have to file suit. We file suit in a lot of these cases. We're filing a summary judgment briefing tomorrow in a case where they're contesting the level of coverage, and we're fighting those. I've tried those cases as well. So make those claims, do it. You pay for that underinsured insurance for a reason. But if you think the insurance company is going to roll over and pay you, they're not. That's one of the other, and I know one of Maya's questions, a couple questions ago, what are the mistakes people make? Here's a mistake that I did not. I want to append this to my last answer, if I could, Maya, is that they think that if they have an underinsured claim against their own insurance company, or they have an uninsured claim, different than under. Uninsured is different than under. Uninsured means that the person who rear-ended you had no insurance whatsoever. Then you're going after your own insurance company. The mistakes people make in those kinds of claims are that they don't make the claim. Number one, they say it's my insurance company. I don't want my premiums to go up. But would you rather get 25 grand from your own insurance company and have your premiums go up $50 or not? Yeah, go. You pay for that insurance for a reason. If they're going to try to increase your premiums or do that kind of stuff, go shop for other insurance. Every time I've ever shopped for other insurance, I tend to be loyal. I stick with the same insurance company. But every time I've ever gone out and looked for other insurance policies, I always save money. Kind of like cable, I'm going to switch to Charter, blah blah blah, and then your current cable company all of a sudden has got a better deal for you. It's kind of the same deal. So number one mistake they make is they don't sue it. Number two is they think that they don't need to hire a lawyer because their insurance company is going to take care of them. And what happens is you do all this stuff, you give them all the stuff, they take a statement, they do this, and then they offer you some piddly amount. And you're like, wait a minute, you're my insurance company. I've had blah, blah insurance company for 20 years, and I've never had a wreck. And now you're doing this? Are you kidding me? So that can happen as well. So those are the two mistakes people make with that.